All right, so today we're diving deep into something a little different. We usually talk about like the latest breakthroughs and all that, but this time we're going to get kind of introspective.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves a good success story.
Oh, for sure. Everyone wants to hear about like, the person who had this amazing idea and then like, boom.
Instant success.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it all just worked out perfectly.
But let's be real.
That's like the unicorn.
Yeah, that's the unicorn of the business world, the
Golas.
entertainment industry, anything.
Right.
But what about all the times things don't go to plan?
And so that's what we're looking at today, this whole idea of like embracing failure and even getting this, like celebrating the mess ups. It's like,
Yeah, it's like a total mindset shift.
yeah.
And, the material we're diving into today, it's called The Courage to Fail. Why it's okay to mess up.
Okay, so the title itself is already throwing some shade at how we usually think about failure. Like it even calls it courageous to accept failure. What's that all about? Like what makes it take courage to say, hey, I messed up?
Well, think about it. We're like kind of programmed from day one to like avoid failure at all costs, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's all about, getting good grades.
Don't mess up.
Don't mess up. Winning the game.
It's
Acing
true.
the test.
Being perfect.
Right. Perfection. Nobody's out there like giving you a gold star for like, tripping and falling.
Well,
So to actually own up to those moments where we fall short, it takes guts. It's like going against everything we've been told.
and it's not just like what other people think either.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes I'm my own worst critic.
I feel that. We internalize all that pressure, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like we're not just afraid of what others think, but what WE think of ourselves.
Totally.
So we end up like, fearing judgment so much that we miss out on the whole point,
Yeah.
which is that failure is like the best teacher you can have.
Like it can actually help you grow and all that.
Yeah.
Now the source we're looking at talks about these like uplifting examples of failure. And I got to say, I'm really intrigued. What kind of stories are we talking about here?
Well, one that immediately comes to mind is J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter books.
Oh, yeah, I've heard this one.
Right. So you probably know her manuscript was rejected like a dozen times before a publisher finally said yes.
I actually didn't know it was that many. A dozen times.
12 rejections? Imagine the dedication.
It makes you think how many people would have just chucked it in after like the first two or three,
Oh, totally.
or even like, 10 rejections. It's wild to think we might not even have Harry Potter if she hadn't kept going.
Exactly. And that's what makes these stories so uplifting. They show us that even these like major setbacks, they don't have to be the end. They can actually like catapult you to something even bigger and better.
It's like those failures kind of shaped her work, Like it wouldn't be the same without them.
Totally. It's like those bumps in the road force you to get creative, find new ways to do things.
And sometimes that leads to something totally unexpected. Have you ever like messed something up so bad and then later on you're like, actually kind of glad it happened?
Oh, all the time. Like there was this one time when I was
It's so true though. It's like you got to mess up to figure things out sometimes.
yeah.
It's like that saying, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Right. And what if we could like shift our whole view of failure? Like instead of fearing it, what if we saw it as like a stepping stone, on the way to success?
It's a powerful way to look at it, that's for sure.
It is. So as you go about your day to day, I want you to think about your own experiences. What's one failure in your life that looking back actually taught you something valuable? Or like maybe even led to something good that you never expected? Take a minute to think about it. You might surprise yourself.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you in the next one.
See you then.